entertainmentbuddha.com.
Dun da 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 dun da 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 wah 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 da 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 wah 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 da 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 wah 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 wah. Hey! Everybody, that's right, we're back, and yes, it's not just me. I'm sorry you had to listen to my voice only on the last episode of Star Wars Time, but Nick is back. I coaxed him out of retirement. He's done taking vacation, even though he deserved a long one, because we all know he slaves for the man.
That's right.
Day in and day out, this guy is doing something that probably sucks.
Yeah, I don't live that self-employed life. I don't live that sweet professor life like Matt lives, but you know,
damn Skippy,
I still make a little bit of money here and there, and I'm able to live.
He's working, right? I mean, that's all we can ask for in America. I mean, he's got a job, he's making money, he can buy his tickets to Star Wars, which, by the way, Solo finally went on pre-sale. And honestly, Nick, I kind of think we should slap ourselves for not kind of being able to finger point that May the 4th would be the day that they go on sale.
Us too.
It's pretty fucking obvious.
Yeah, I mean, we're sitting here the whole time thinking like, well, they opened pre-orders for like Last Jedi and for Force Awakens pretty, way earlier, like at least a month out. So why would they wait so long for Solo? But then we're like, oh yeah, fucking Star Wars Day is 3 weeks out from the release. So of course they would have it on that day. What a bunch of...
But they still, I mean, even while we're just briefly talking about this, it was still super stealthy.
Yeah, dude, the only way...
Because there was no major announcement, man. There was no major announcement. I mean, I only found out through Instagram. Someone had it in their stories, and it was some random site. It wasn't even like StarWars.com that basically said, oh, yeah, tickets are going on sale 12 p.m. Eastern time on the 4th.
Yeah, see, like, I found it from a Fandango email. Like, I was going through my fucking email, Fandango email popped up and was like, all right, Solo tickets pre-sale May 4th. I was like, oh, shit, that actually makes a lot of sense. Why the fuck didn't I think of that?
Right, it's been weird because even Solo's, what I am calling Solo's toy release day, because it is. I mean, being the hardcore toy collector I am, I mean, when I think it was April 27 or maybe 420, I forget. It was one of those weekends. It was the unofficial or the official Wookiee weekend, and that was the first weekend that we got the Solo toys to come out. But I guess why not just wait until May the 4th?
Yeah,
it was perfect because it was going to be a Friday. I mean, it would have been in line with the theme that all these other movie figure release days came in with. But whatever, it's come, it's gone. We're talking on May the 4th right now, but you're not going to be hearing this until post May the 4th. It is. I mean, at this point, right? I mean, this isn't like a long-standing holiday. I mean, this is fairly still recent. I mean, I even think this post-dates the prequels, right?
Yeah, I mean, I can't remember.
I almost think this was a holiday we made up to probably just make us feel better about what the prequels did to us,
I think so, because I'm remembering back to, like, the prequel theatrical runs and everything like that, and I can't ever remember, like, a giant May the 4th celebration or anything now.
No, I'm almost positive this predates the new movies, and it postdates the prequels. So as I have hypothesized, I truly think this holiday was created either spontaneously or through serious thought from fans to combat the negative feelings about the Star Wars franchise we all probably had after the 99 through 2005 run of Star Wars narrative.
Yeah, it was our way to kind of keep the spirit alive, because
right, like, hey, there still is a reason to be happy about being a fan of this franchise.
Yeah, I mean, just because it's out of the theaters doesn't mean that, you can't still enjoy the content that's out there. I mean, that was still during the run of...
Isn't it funny to think, though, it took that long to come up with the gimmick of May the 4th?
Yeah, I know, right? I think we did. Didn't we do a
Probably.
We did a less than 12 parsecs on May the 4th. So it's out there on YouTube. Go check it out.
Yeah, but it is. I mean, it's fairly recent, and as we just said, I know it's post prequels and prior to the new saga.
Yeah, so it's within the last.
So I'm going with it was done in reaction to how devastatingly bad the prequels were.
Probably.
And Star Wars fans in general needed something to celebrate again.
Yeah, we needed that
and to
fire.
feel good about. Because I'm not gonna lie, I mean, up until the announcement of TFA and beyond, I couldn't even watch a Star Wars movie. Like, even the originals I couldn't watch.
I would do at least like a once a year. Like I would watch them at least once a year, the full deal, even the prequels. I'd go the full marathon run all the way through, and then like, I mean, Empire and Jedi are two movies that I can really just throw on at any time and watch them all the way through. So like, I wasn't completely off the Star Wars train, but I mean, when you don't have giant theatrical like releases like we're having now every year, it's kind of hard to keep yourself really embedded in that spirit.
Well, in the end, dude, and I really do believe this is true, and I still even think for our generational gap, you do lean towards my generation and are thinking towards the franchise.
Yeah.
But I think there's a very strong argument to be made for people born in the 90s and their views on the prequels versus the original trilogy. Those movies were made for 9-year-olds. I mean, The Phantom Menace was made for a 9 or 10-year-old.
Yeah, I mean, one of your main characters is a kid who's 10 years old.
Right.
So
if you're born in 90, I mean, yeah, that movie to me probably would be gospel.
Yeah. And
I do understand that. I still contend if you're a legitimate Star Wars fan and you actually do study the originals after the prequels and you don't realize the gap between quality, you still may not really get Star Wars.
Yeah. I mean, and also like the kids who were super young when the prequels came out, and like they were used to watching movies that had that kind of visual fidelity, that like had all those like crazy looking special effects and everything. And it's like, in my experience, it's hard for kids to go back and watch older movies because they don't look as good.
Oh, of course. I mean, but even to this day, the original Star Wars movies hold up to a point.
Yeah.
They're still pretty fucking impressive. I mean, I'll make the argument they look better than the prequel movies.
Yeah, I mean, depending on, especially
if you look at some of the CGI in the prequel movies this time, which by the way were cutting edge when they came out, it's fucking bad.
Yeah, especially in episode 2, there was a lot of questionable shit that was done in that movie.
I'd rather take a fucking painting of a back scene or a clear model moving through frame than really shoddy looking CGI, honestly. And that's why I think the original trilogy still over time will stand up better than the prequel.
Oh yeah, I mean, that's why the directors of these new films have kind of gone back to the old Lucas way, which was do as much practical as you can and then fill in with, computer generated graphics.
Yeah, I'd say the biggest difference is that all the space shots are digital now versus they were all practical back in the original days.
But I mean, now the digital space shots look fucking real. I mean, like
way better.
So
I mean,
better.
It's so much easier to do a CGI shot of a super Star Destroyer than a CGI shot of a full-on character.
Yeah, and that's still like even
there's less lighting requirements, less probably physics and brilliance and this, that, and the other thing.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we saw that with Grand Moff Tarkin and Rogue One. I mean, he looked fantastic. I mean, that's the first time that we've really ever seen like a dead person be resurrected with CG. I mean, it looked great, but you can still tell that it wasn't a real human. Whereas if you're seeing a ship that you have no reference to in real life in space in a movie, you're like, holy shit, that could be real for all we know. But yeah, so
Are we even talking about an agenda item at this
Nope.
point?
We just kicked it.
Okay.
And
I just wanted to make sure because I'm looking at our schedule. I'm going, what the fuck are we talking about?
Yeah, we just kind of kicked right into the May 4th stuff and then started riffing on that for a bit. But we do have some actual items to talk about here, people. We have a couple of little nuggets from episode 9 casting.
Yeah, let's talk about some episode 9 shit.
Yeah, so we'll start off with those. The first piece we'll get into is something from John Boyega. Not really a spoiler, but maybe a little allusion to what we can see for episode 9.
Yeah, this is just pure conjecture from a fan who happens to be a major actor in the film.
Yeah, so this little piece came from Boyega himself. He says, I can't wait to start shooting the next and final leg of the Star Wars franchise. The first step is growing out my hair, so you can wait for the trailer to see why.
Okay, well, and I don't want to get weird here, but what does that mean? I mean, how long can a person of African descent truly grow their hair?
Yeah, I mean, maybe, I don't know if he's going to, like, go fro with it.
What are we talking about? Are we talking like a kid and play afro?
Yeah, I mean, or he could do his hair up.
Like a Rick James fucking Jerry curl comb down.
Yeah, there's a lot of different styles that it could be done here. But I feel like if this is going to be, and also here's another piece of context for it. Boyega talking about episode 9 a little bit. He says, I think episode 9, regardless of where the story goes, and I haven't read it, by the way, it's going to be an all-out war. So I know that I'm going to have to do all I can to train for that. So in my opinion, if he's growing out his hair and it's also going to be an all-out war movie, like he's probably going to go something like cropped down, maybe like some like tight cornrows, like fucking Latrell Sprewell used to do in the NBA. Who knows, man? I'm telling you, you don't see. Well, I was gonna say you don't see many people.
I'm sorry, it's just funny to hear a Star Wars character's hair being described as tight cornrows. I think that's pimp, though. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean,
let's get him some motherfucking like braided cornrows.
Get like Allen Iverson style, like
yes,
like. I'm trying to think too.
See, I'm almost envisioning like a Don King afro, like blown out gray hair, black hair mix.
Yeah, because I've never seen Boyega with like his hair grown out at all, so I don't know what it looks like. I don't know like
cornrows.
But I'm trying to think.
Oh yeah.
Like, could you imagine seeing him like with a full on like awesome ass afro, like running down a battlefield, kind of like Thandie Newton's character?
I think an afro would be fantastic. I'm just wondering, like, what are we talking about? Long hair for a black gentleman, and there's no racism behind this. I'm just wondering, like I said, are we gonna get some Jerry curls going, Rick James, and just paint him down? Or are we going with like a manly ass pimp dog afro?
Dude, I wonder if like after the destruction of
or is he gonna have like gray, like hints of gray in it? Like I think the more interesting aspect of this is like how far future are we talking?
Yeah, exactly. Like,
I mean, are we 3 years, 5 years removed from TLJ? 10 years?
I was wondering if like maybe they portray the Resistance as like a guerrilla organization now, and like he's just like, him and, some of the other fighters are kind of like living, somewhere on like the edge of the galaxy, maybe making like using like star hoppers to like planet hop and make small hits versus against the First Order.
See,
I feel
like
maybe he's got like a beard too.
Oh, a beard would be fantastic. But I still feel like this 9 is the end cap, so it's not going to be more setup, it's going to be closure.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think they could set up this galaxy-wide conflict at this point.
Yeah, they definitely can't at the end
even
stage
though
of TLJ.
That's kind of where they basically have set it up that the First Order has the numbers by 1,000, and the Resistance has 30 people.
Yeah, they have nothing. They have no ships, to our knowledge, other than the Falcon, and pretty much all they had in terms of...
Yeah, because no one they called to help them, by the way, came to help.
Yeah, nobody came. And I mean, to my obviously, what we're probably gonna see is since that rallying call went out, and then Luke is now this legendary figure again in the galaxy.
Even more, yeah, you hit the nail on the head. Even more so than the rally call, which is important. I mean, it is important that they did get out a final message like, yo, we're about to be fucking killed, but we're going to fight till the end. All hail the resistance, essentially.
Yeah.
And then Luke came and did his thing and proved that, hey, yeah, there can be legends, and the legends can actually pay off on their legend. So get inspired, motherfuckers, because this is no longer a resistance. This is a full-on rebellion.
Yeah, so we're going to start seeing, we're probably going to come into episode 9.
But I see, I'm more thinking like the original trilogy, in particular, A New Hope to Empire. We're talking like a 3-year split.
Yeah, I think it's going to be similar to that as well.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be much longer than that.
Well, you need time. Yeah, you need time to build up those numbers. I mean, you can't jump right back in too soon and then have a building phase of the rebellion.
Right. We have to believe as fans, because I think you realize and I realize, like, they're not going to be able to take a deep dive into what Rey has become.
No.
Like Rey's going to be Rey, and she's probably going to be a pretty fucking all-powerful Jedi in 9.
Yeah, I mean, similar to how we...
She's I'm sorry to step on you, but I think she's going to be Luke and Jedi, if not 10 times stronger.
Yeah, exactly. That's pretty much where I was going. Is like she's going to mirror kind of Luke's
she's
path.
She's already learned those lessons that Luke needed to learn in Jedi.
Yeah, I really want to see what she's going to do in terms of her lightsaber. Like, what kind of saber is she going to build?
It would be nice to see her craft her own, and out of anyone that should deserve a purple lightsaber in the universe, it should be her, not fucking Mace Windu. Fuck you, Sam Jackson. I love you, but fuck off.
That would be dope. I still want to see her with a staff-style saber like Maul.
Yeah, of course, but pink or purple?
I would rock pink, dude, just because, one, Jaina Solo from the old EU she rocked the pink.
Exactly.
No,
exactly.
wait, that was Mara Jade. Mara Jade had a pink and Jaina had blue.
Well, Jaina's was more purple. Yeah.
So it was, I'd like to see like a pink lightsaber.
But you know what I'm saying. I mean, I feel like Rey deserves a non-standard bullshit ass blue.
Yeah, especially since she's supposed to be representing this new evolution of the Jedi.
Yeah, she's the new flavor of a good Force user. Like I even think they want to kill off the term Jedi at this point. I even though Luke said, yeah, the Jedi are not over.
Yeah, I'm not the last Jedi.
The Jedi as we have all come to know it just don't even exist at this point.
Yeah, I mean, they may...
Jedi now are more synonymous.
Yeah,
thank you.
Yeah.
Exactly. What Nick said, with just a good Force user than the Jedi of the prequel era.
Yeah, I feel like if anybody kind of has read through the old EU and knows how Luke rebuilt the Jedi Order after episode 6 ended, that's kind of where I see the Jedi going now, is like way less strict, way less, exclusive with their membership.
Right. Yeah, if you want to fuck a bitch, fuck a bitch.
Yeah, like get married.
Right? If you want to fuck a dude, fuck a dude.
Like you can live your life. You're not like shackled to this religious kind of order.
Just be a good person and don't abuse your power.
Yeah, exactly. So I feel like that's kind of the direction that if Rey does choose to build up the Jedi Order, that she'll go with it. So yeah, definitely interested to see that. And then also continuing with some episode 9 news, it looks like Daisy Ridley could possibly have 2 more female co-stars, co-actors, and actresses alongside of her in episode 9, because there's 2 pieces of casting news.
I love Daisy.
She's great, dude. I mean, like that was a fucking golden casting decision. Whoever like sent that word down, like this girl's got it, they hit the nail on the head. Like
JJ's the one that made the hire.
Yeah. So fucking
I wish she was Daisy that used to be Daisy on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Like I want her to be every Daisy where there's a Daisy.
So take Chloe Bennett's spot. I don't know, I love Chloe Bennett on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Chloe's great. I don't know if you're a S.H.I.E.L.D. watcher. I love that show.
Yeah, I haven't kept up with the most recent season because I'm just bad at watching live runs of shit. But
yeah, no, it's been good. It's been unfortunately they just kind of ignored the Infinity War stuff, which is a bummer because I really thought they were gonna kind of keep Shield tied to the MCU, but it's kind of
doing its own thing,
veered its way the past few years. But yeah, this year's been quite interesting.
Yeah. The last one I saw was with the framework, like how they were all inside the framework, and then with Ghost Rider. So.
No, it's a good show. It's a good show. It's worth finishing out when you get a chance.
Yeah, I definitely will. So the casting news here is that it seems like JJ and Chris Terrio are now looking for 2 actresses. One described as a female lead, 40 to 50 years old, to play the role of Mara, M-A-R-A. This was all in caps here that for some reason. In the description.
All right. Stop right there. Stop. If you're a Star Wars fan and you heard what he just said, it should resonate with you.
Yes. I mean, everybody should know, regardless of whether you've read the books or not.
Yeah, I don't care how fucking old you are. If you're a legitimate Star Wars fan, even though at this point the name of Mara has been aborted, you should still fucking know.
Yes, and we're referring to Mara Jade Skywalker, Luke's wife in the old EU. Now, as this piece of news comes out, everybody's thinking, "Oh my God, they're doing this," but we have to keep in mind, like the story says, these guys, the people who run at Lucasfilm and who do the casting and stuff, generally use code names for these roles. Like they didn't come out and say when they were casting Rey for TFA, like, "Hey, we're looking for a character named Rey." I believe that the code name for that character was actually Kira.
Well, no, that wasn't her code name. That was what the name was going to be.
Well, yeah, what it was going to be. Yeah, my bad. But yeah, so this code named role is Mara. Now, if that's going to be the character's name or not, we don't know. But 40 to 50-year-old female lead sounds like, it would be kind of right in that wheelhouse of somebody who could have interacted with Luke maybe in his younger days before he sequestered himself onto Acto. But who knows? It doesn't say whether this person.
Dude, all bullshit aside, would you be down with that?
I do.
Like if she's the Mara Jade that we know Mara Jade to be.
Oh, like a former Imperial assassin, like the actual.
No, not even that. Just the fact that yes, she was mixed up with this guy named Luke pretty heavily.
I would be down for it, dude. I mean, we don't know anything.
I agree. I think there's a lot of narrative potential in that character, especially the way we saw Luke go down in 8.
Yeah,
I mean,
we essentially,
if they do, let's all pretend here, if they do set up that this woman did have relations with Luke at some point in time, she could help fill in some gaps, maybe even to Rey, about why Luke was the way he was.
Exactly. I mean, like that's exactly where I was going with this. Is like there's a lot of story to still be filled in with Luke here. I mean, yes, we know his ultimate fate, and we know where he sat at the end of Episode 6, but I mean, there's a lot of time.
But at this point, if you take Hamill for his word, Hamill ain't in 9.
Yeah, I mean, he's been pretty adamant. Like,
I mean, within the last 2 weeks, he pretty much said, you know what? This whole Star Wars thing can go eat a fucking dick.
It's just so weird that he's like talking like
right? I mean, that's what he this guy's gone from I didn't really agree with Ryan to, you know what? I fucked up. I actually loved what Ryan did to, hey, Star Wars, fuck off.
Yeah, it's such an odd. I don't know, dude. I mean, Star Wars has been like a huge part of his life for such a long time, and obviously
he's had a rough year with it. There's no doubt about it. I mean, this guy has struggled probably for the past 2 years with it because he knew about TLJ way before we all did.
Yeah. So,
and if you watched, the what was it, the Jedi and the Apprentice, or the something like that,
the Director and the Jedi, I think.
Yeah, exactly. The featurette on. Yeah, I was not even remotely close, and I was like, yeah, exactly. But whatever. What Nick said. I mean, it was so clear that Hamill went through a major journey just to get through the fucking shoot.
Yeah, I mean, he got to a point of like acceptance with what Luke was,
He basically wanted to kill himself to resigned to the point of depression to, all right, maybe this isn't so wrong after all.
Yeah. So.
And now but then all of a sudden, where we get down, TLJ's been out for a few months. He's basically going, quit asking me about Star Wars. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, it's such a fucking weird turn. Unless he's just, I mean, like, Mark Hamill's a crazy dude. Like, he does crazy shit. He does funny shit all the time. So maybe he's like...
Yeah, I mean, the guy, he's been making up new names for May Star Wars holiday since May 1st.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is just what he does. I mean, he did... I forget what he did for first and second, but the third he did, May the 3rd be absurd.
Yeah.
I mean, and then James Gunn replied, and not a turd.
Yeah. So, I mean... I'm curious to see if, like, he's just playing like this to throw people off the scent that he could be in 9. I don't know. Maybe he's not.
I hope he is, because I hate even thinking or knowing that Mark Hamill is, like, supremely upset with Star Wars.
It does.
That does bother me.
I mean...
It bothers me.
I mean, this is the guy...
As much as... And again, I'm a guy that loved The Last Jedi and really didn't have many issues with the way Luke was portrayed, and that was... really the biggest bone of contention with most fans and with my co-host here. But I don't like knowing that Mark Hamill is unhappy.
Well, yeah, I mean, now we look at the only 2 surviving members from the original trilogy Big 3 in Harrison Ford and Mark Hamill.
That's I'm glad you brought that up. But he's also, that has been a big point to him. He's like, yo, the fact that the old crew can never be together again, to me, it's just like, it's not a big a deal anymore.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not that big of a deal. He's like, the fact that I know I'm never going to work with Harrison or Carrie again in this project, I don't fucking give a shit as much as I did at the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand that. I can understand that, like, those bonds that those 3 people built when they were making the original trilogy is like, it's like a family bond. But I also feel like everything that Mark's been through in his life and all these conventions that he goes through and all of these fan expos and all the people that he's ever seen that, fall to their knees in front of him because of his role as Luke Skywalker, like, for him to, like, be able to dismiss that so easily it's so weird to me.
I think what it clearly says is that The Last Jedi really upset him.
Oh yeah. I think it's...
As much as he tried to play company man,
I mean, he did a great job at that too. I mean, like, he went on the world tour.
But he even had his blunders, which he apologized for. I mean, there are some articles on film where he's like, "Hey," I mean, he literally created the character of Jake Skywalker.
Yeah, on a fucking pretty popular late night TV show, like
a legitimate interview came up with, like, this is not Luke, this is Jake.
Yeah, I mean, that's like in his description, he's like, that's what I was telling myself as I was acting this person.
Yeah. And even when he eventually, after the movie came out, and I think he started to see some of his comments, be portrayed in the media, he was probably like, oh Jesus, that's pretty fucking harsh. And I do think he respects Ryan.
Yeah,
I do.
I don't think it was ever a question about respecting Ryan. Like, I think that's like a foregone conclusion. Like, he respects.
And I do think he does appreciate his vision. I just think he just opposes it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's kind of my view of it too. Like, I appreciate The Last Jedi for all that it is. I just, like, I can't get past that portrayal of Luke, and I think that's probably, like, the same area that Mark's in. And I mean, it's going to be hard because he lived with this idea of Luke in his head, like what he would be in the future, for probably 30, 40 years.
And that's a funny thing, because he's even been on record saying, like, fans should not do that themselves. But I think you're right. I think that's exactly what he's doing.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of us, and I'm not saying it's you, but I think there are a lot of fans that had so much hate for TLJ because it didn't play out the way it played out in their own heads.
Yeah, I mean, everybody has...
And I think that's the same for Mark. Like, he had an idea going into 7 even what Luke should have been, and that didn't happen. He was like, okay, well, I'll buy my time. And then 8 comes around, he's like, well, yeah, I'm going to be on camera a lot, but this ain't fucking what I had.
Yeah, I mean, could you imagine that? Like, the initial script of 7 had him coming in relatively, I don't want to say relatively early, but like, in the last part of Act 2 and then into Act 3, like he was there and he was playing a prominent role.
No, man. That's what he always thought. Luke was never meant to show up until when he did.
See, I thought in Arndt's script and
No. I mean, Hamill's always said that he was the one that always thought he was going to show up in the forest. And he was going to be the one to save the day, and he was going to be the one to show up right after Han
See,
died.
like, I'd have to go back and read interviews, because I know
I'm almost positive that was all Hamill's own projection, and that's why it shocked him so much when he realized that, nope, I don't even fucking say a word.
No, I have to, because I could remember JJ saying that at some point they had it to where he did come back, but they scrapped it because as soon as Luke came in, he took over the whole movie. And they didn't want to do that because of the kids.
Right. It all kind of plays into the same idea where these guys were never going to be the fucking main stars.
I mean, I can see I can see why he'd be upset about it, because if he did have if he did have those thoughts about 7 and he ends up playing a non-speaking role for 10 seconds, that's kind of shitty, but he knows he has 8 coming, and then when he reads the script for 8, and it's not how he would want to portray the actor or the character, but he has to. I mean, like, he literally has to do it.
Think about 7, though. He has one of the most epic intros of any Star Wars movie.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, you open up on him. Like, his intro is a cliffhanger ending to the film, and it was.
Yeah, it's massive.
I mean, it sent everybody on a
and
spiral.
He probably made $10 million for that.
Yeah. I mean, it sent the entire Star Wars universe and fan base into a spiral for 2 years, wondering what this interaction was going to be like.
Yeah, and then he just fucking throws the lightsaber to some porgs.
Yeah, so I could see why he's, I could see why he's got some
It just sucks all around. I mean, it's a bummer, but that's life. Yeah. I mean, I'm not trying to say I'm a know-it-all fan, but I kind of expected going into 7, 8, 9 that the main guys would never be the main guys again.
Oh, yeah.
I always figured them to be ancillary to the noobs.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's kind of, like, going into it, I had already called, like, they're all going to die, and they're not, I mean, like, of course, they're being used to raise up these new generation of Star Wars actors.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if I had, I'd say my biggest beef with TLJ was that we didn't get more growth with Rey.
Yeah.
Than anyone.
Yeah, I mean,
to me, that was the bigger error than anything else, was that we didn't get. Rey just kind of felt like she figured it all out without having to really figure it out. To me.
Yeah, like eventually it just like kind of snaps.
Like Luke was such a dickwad that she was just like, okay, well, fuck off, I figured it out.
Yeah, like I'll just swing this lightsaber around myself for a little bit and see what comes to me.
Like I don't need any physical training or metaphysical training in how to use the Force. You just taught me how not to be, so peace.
Yeah, it was definitely, that whole time on the island was definitely weird to me. But
like, to me, I'll be more upset if we don't get Maz Kanata's explanation of how she got the lightsaber than the way Luke was portrayed.
Honestly, dude, I think that's going to be a Resistance cartoon thread. I think that would be probably the better way to do that.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
If we don't get it at all, yeah.
I'm just showing like how little of beef I had with some of the big beef that people had with TLJ.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I'm more concerned with the fact that we may not get an explanation behind Luke's lightsaber showing up in, fucking Maz's castle over how Luke was portrayed.
Yeah, yeah. But that's what we got these TV
shows
for.
But hey, in the end, Hamill hates Star Wars now, so fuck
yeah. But anyway, on this 40 to 50-year-old female lead, I mean, do you think that this is pretty much... So here's the situation after Episode 8. You killed your only other replacement that could have worked for Leia in Emmeline Holdo for no reason. You just killed her. And then you don't have Leia anymore, so you really don't have like a primary female character outside of Rey. So they really needed to fill this gap. So do you think this is going to be like a Resistance?
I already said it. I'm all for it. I think Mar coming out of left field even would be fantastic.
Yeah. So you think that this there's like no chance that this is like another, like a bad person, like another evildoer. This has got to be like another resistance person.
No, yeah, this would be someone coming to aid, and I honestly don't think they'll be called the Resistance.
Rebellion. Let's do it again.
Yes.
Bring it full circle.
I think at this point they are the new Rebel Alliance.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know who could come out.
And honestly, I could see just Rey seeking out this character.
Yeah. It's going to be...
Because in the end, based on... And this could be the genius of Ryan's treatment of Luke. In the end, as I've always said, we got to give it till the end of 9 to fully judge 8. You have to. 7 can live on its own. 9 can live on its own. But 8 depends on the previous and the finale.
Yeah.
It does. It does. You can't judge a middle act on itself.
You're definitely
it's just,
right.
Middle acts just... They're always going to be wonky. It doesn't matter. They're always going to be wonky.
Yeah, alluding to Infinity Wars, this first movie, it was a fantastic movie, but like when it ended, you knew that like, okay, well, there's something that's going to come after this, and we have to see what happens.
Well, the way I explained it to a friend who hadn't seen it, to not spoil it, like this is the MCU's Empire Strikes Back.
I've seen that. Yeah, I've seen that a couple of times, and that's a perfect explanation for Infinity War.
If not 10 times more tragic.
Yeah. So we have this new 40 to 50-year-old lead, and then the second casting news that we have coming out is another female character. This character is being described as an ethnic female, in quotes, between the ages of 18 to 26. The working name or the code name for this character is Caro, Caro, and the description is possesses a captivating naturalness and ease to her manner. So,
all right. So here's my hot take, and this probably isn't going to be popular. I got to phrase it the right way. I'm not Elmer Fudd. Sorry. I feel like it would be more interesting to see Rey training a male champion than another female.
Yeah.
I really do. As caveman as that may sound, Rey is clearly the hero, the heroine, the number one female.
Okay.
So why not show her growth in the fact that she can train a male dominant?
So you think that this is going to be a Padawan then? You're going to go that this person is Padawan?
Well, that's what it sounds like to me.
It says the other little piece of the description.
How do you just... And again, this depends on if there is the time jump, which I think there has to be. So even if we're talking 3 or 5 years, is 3 years enough to introduce this all-powerful female lead? Like, based on what we know at the end of The Last Jedi, where it's fucking a ragtag crew on the Falcon.
Yeah, unless they're going to pull somebody in.
Why are we going to care about a fucking gunslinger, military tactician type over someone that has force powers? What the fuck do we
you're
care?
Definitely right.
And why would Rey be leading that person over a Poe Dameron?
Yeah, it's a good... Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. The other little piece of the description is leader and problem solver, smart with a great sense of humor and a strong will. All this comes to her effortlessly. You know who this sounds like to me? It sounds like Ahsoka. That's how I would describe Ahsoka.
Well, yeah, that would just be icing on the cake. But
it's not going to be Ahsoka.
Ain't going to happen. Yeah. Ahsoka would be a fucking wrinkled old lady at that point.
Yeah.
Depending on how Tortuga's age, but I think she'd be somewhat pretty fucking ragged.
Yeah. I don't really have an opinion on whether it should be a dude or a female if it is a Padawan.
I don't want to sound like a fucking chauvinistic pig fuck because I'm far from it. I just think it'd be more interesting. Because let's think about it. What have we always seen? Male. Male's the teacher. Male's the sensei. Male's the master. Male. Why not a female master teaching a fucking male bitch?
Yeah, I could definitely see that too.
That's what I'm talking about. Like, why not have a fucking pimp-ass female?
I also don't want it, for some reason, the thing that I don't want is I don't want it to be another human.
Yeah, of course. Well, yeah, why not? Have it be a fucking alien.
I mean, if you take that first part of the description, captivating naturalness in an eastern manner, like the captivating naturalness part to me almost speaks of like an alien, like in a Star Wars sense, to like an alien race, like Rey picks up this beacon of extremely powerful force energy out there somewhere and then goes to this
I agree.
planet.
I think this world's so fucked up at this point and Disney's so rooted in it that they're always going to play towards diversity that is Earth-based.
Yeah.
In terms of if it's a person of color or a female or this or the other thing. As long as it's not a white man, I think at this point Disney's happy.
Yeah. And here's the thing too about, I mean, at least so far in this trilogy, I mean, the Last Jedi did not have a lot of what would be considered alien primary characters. Like, you'd actually, like, did you even have a single alien primary character?
Snoke's the biggest argument you can make for that.
Yeah, and I mean, he is about as human looking as you can get for still being a
right.
non-human race. I mean,
again, it's just his height is the only thing that doesn't line up to natural human biology.
Yeah, but
because he's like 7'5" or something.
Yeah, and I know that like it's dangerous, especially if you're going to be using this character in further films, to like use a character that will semi-rely on CGI for their look if they're going to go with like a flamboyant type of alien structure with it. But I think that would be a really cool way to introduce a different flavor to Force users. I mean, I know all throughout the prequels we saw, like Ki-Adi-Mundi, Yoda, I mean, Plo Koon, go down the list of all these different Jedi who were, of different races.
Yeah, but they were cardboard as shit. I mean, everyone you named looked awesome, but they were as fucking cardboard, rigid bullshit as a guy.
Yeah, and they were never in a primary role. I mean,
I don't even know if Plo Koon had a line in the
No,
prequels.
I mean, he just got blown up. That was pretty much
like he's way more fleshed out in the cartoon, which again, I'm going to reiterate, the Clone Wars cartoon is the only stories you need to watch from the Clone Wars prequel, period.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm hoping that
Attack of the Clones. What the fuck are you talking about?
So, yeah, I mean, I'd like to see an alien. I don't care. We'll see what it is. I mean, I think you're pretty spot on about this being a Padawan. I think that was a good call. So yeah, that's the little nuggets that we had from episode 9. Not too much, but a little bit to speculate on out there. Could we see a Mara Jade type character? Who knows? Could Rey have a fucking Padawan? We'll see. Now let's move on to the here and now, and by here and now I mean 3 weeks from now, with Solo. So Matt, we had a pretty hefty.
Yeah, we got a couple things on Solo. I want to just start with a little article Nick dug up, and it came from the former Solo directors, or what we like to call the two assholes that got fired because they were dicks.
Yes.
So anyways, Lord Miller they were interviewed by Esquire by way of comicbook.com. Anyways, they were interviewed about something, and they got into talking about Solo, and in particular the character of Harrison and how they cast him. And just to give you a quick summary of what this article talks about is, they basically said that Alden Ehrenreich was the gold standard from day one. So the moment he came in and auditioned, that's what every other actor that came after him had to live up to. So as much as it's been made out that this guy's been a fucking jerk off and needed coaching and practice and all the edits were because of him, the two guys that directed a good part of this movie, which, I mean, Ron Howard and everyone's come out and said that it's not like Ron redid the entire film. And these two directors are still going to have their stamp on the movie, even though they're not going to be credited as directors. I think they're not going to be producers or executive producers. But either way, these guys selected Alden from day one, and he won out.
Yeah, like he ran the gauntlet of all the other people coming through the door to try to win that role. And it's pretty interesting, how they described the casting process for it, because one of the things that both you and I were worried about for this movie before it came out, as to who was going to play Han, is like, well, essentially you're going to be hiring somebody to play Harrison Ford. But apparently, these guys went into this film not looking for something like that. So this is what they said. They said, an impression of Harrison Ford would have felt like an extended Saturday Night Live sketch. We wanted someone who could evoke the spirit of the iconic performance we all remember while bringing something new and fresh. And then they reference how Chris Pine played Captain Kirk, and he didn't do like a Shatner impression or anything like that. Like, he made the character his own, and it still turned out to be pretty damn good. So apparently, they felt like Alden's portrayal in his, auditions and stuff, the way that he, evoked the spirit of Han Solo without, trying to be Harrison Ford, was exactly what they were looking for.
Yeah, it was good enough. So, and honestly, Nick and I have talked off mic, and we've had some choice words to say about Alden based on some of the trailers, and really most recently the big narrative heavy trailer that came out a few weeks ago. But after watching some of the new TV spots, and in particular just watching that narrative trailer on the big screen, going to Infinity War a couple times, fuck, dude, I'm kind of like getting hyped at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it's
I feel a lot better about everything, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's definitely getting more real, right? Like, we're 3 weeks out. This whole time, like, me and you have been really kind of on the fence about this movie, waiting for something to like really show us like this is going to be fucking awesome. And it hasn't come along yet, but like, I think you're right. In Infinity War, seeing that trailer in front of it, you're like, okay, now I'm seeing this on like big screen. I know what it's going to feel like.
That was huge. It was huge seeing that on the big screen.
Yeah, so, and then also just listening to these TV spots, and especially one in particular that really kind of spoke to me about it was, I believe it was the one where Lando takes you through or it might have been the featurette one. One of those two.
Yeah, Glover gives you a tour of Lando's Falcon.
Yeah, and like during one of those featurettes, like he's like, really the Han that we're meeting now is unlike the Han that we've ever seen before. So that just like really drives home that while we're used to seeing this Han Solo character from 4, 5, 6, and 7 that we've all known and loved, that has this like the typical Han Solo Harrison Ford quirks and his that aura about him, the person that we're gonna see in this movie is not really there yet. So if the actor, if Alden did go in and just try to replicate the Han from the original trilogy, he wouldn't be accurately portraying him in his younger life. So that's kind of where I'm sitting now on like this whole debate of whether whether this Han that we're gonna see is like the Han Solo that we've all known and loved, and
it's not meant to be, and that's the point of this movie is. And even Ron Howard, in some of these featurettes, because even since the last time Nick and I talked, we got the Becoming Han featurette, which was another good one where there's cast and crew interviews on the character of Han, and basically they set it up like Han's one of the only people in the galaxy at this point that still has this
sense of freedom almost.
This idealistic sense about him that he can do whatever he wants to do.
Yeah.
Even though the galaxy is being oppressed heavily by the Empire at this point.
Yeah, and that was like one of those.
But we're gonna learn why by the time we get to New Hope that he's broken.
Yeah.
And he's like, yo, fuck this shit. I only give a fuck about myself. Fuck you. I gotta pay off a debt. Fuck off. Okay, I'll take this job because it's gonna help me pay this off. All right, I got paid, even though you guys are all get blown up. Fuck off. I got my money. Peace.
Yeah, the only thing that he cares about by the end of this movie is going to be Chewbacca.
Is himself.
Yeah,
is
and
himself
the ship.
And Chewie. But it sounds like up until that point, he's kind of an enigmatic type of character. Like, hey, we got this. I'll help you out. I'll save you type of guy.
like
he's a Luke almost. He's almost Luke. I think we're going to see Luke Solo.
Yeah, it's almost like he's he doesn't see the double cross coming. Like, even though, like, us as fans and knowing where this leads,
he still believes that if he puts his mind to something, regardless of the situation, he's going to get through it.
Yeah, exactly. Or, you know,
but he's going to learn the hard way that people are going to fuck him over.
Yeah. So I'm pretty fucking hyped, honestly. Like, I saw an article out there saying that, like, Solo could be the biggest opening for a Star Wars movie ever. I think that's pretty far off. Like, I don't think it's gonna hit that level.
No way.
No, not even close. So whoever wrote that can just calm the
not after what TLJ did to some people. There's no way.
Yeah, I mean, there's already some trepidation around this movie just out there in the ether. Like, I mean, there was a lot of negative stuff that came out about it early that we're talking about, his performance, the director's being fired. So people are already kind of like walking on eggshells with Solo.
I don't think, and I think this is going to be unfortunate, and I hope it doesn't affect future projects, because in the end, I'm not an idiot. I'm not like these other people that are like, fuck Disney, they fucked up Star Wars. I'll take what I can get. I mean, I was an adult in an era when there was a very strong reality that Star Wars was gone from my life forever.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Nick and I have talked about this ad nauseum. There's no point in getting back into it, but there really was a point where there was no Star Wars again. It was gone. I mean, at best, we were going to get more awesome cartoons from Filoni.
Yeah.
At best.
You're going to get cartoons and the occasional video game drop.
At best. We weren't going to get fucking live-action movies extending the Skywalker saga or standalones, for Christ's sake. So I'm all about it. Like, I'm not rooting for Solo to fail, but I just think based on all the idiots from 8 and the way they, and not like Nick idiot, but, you know, the people that hated that women are still in charge and this, that, and the other thing, those fucking fools.
Yeah.
Or people think Disney's ruining Star Wars. I'm like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. So I'm not expecting, like, you know, I think
it's going to be I don't even think it's going to sniff what Rogue One did.
I don't think it will either. And Rogue One, like,
week.
It barely crossed that $1 billion worldwide mark, which to me, this is something that's big.
Which in the end, it's sad that that's even considered a slight failure. I mean, we're talking about a movie that probably cost at most $250 million to make, and it made over $1 billion. That's called a pretty fucking good business investment.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I would invest in that if I had $1 million or a couple, you know, fucking 50 million sitting around. Yeah, sure.
I will say this though, I do think that Solo might have like a tepid first week, and by tepid I mean like maybe you cross like, you know, to
it could be a Greatest Showman type of deal.
Yeah, where
week 1 it bombs, week 2 it's the #1 movie in the fucking country.
That's exactly what I was going for. Is like it starts out slow, but then like all the people who saw it opening week are like, holy shit, this was fucking really good, and then the big push happens on week 2. So I mean, like, this is the movie that I really think.
And I'll be the first one to admit, I didn't watch Greatest Showman until it was in theaters for months. And it actually lasted longer in theaters around me than The Last Jedi.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't know that. I don't know. I didn't see it yet. I know that like you spoke really highly of it when we were off mic.
I mean, I'm not questioning my manhood or anything. It is one of the greatest movies I've ever seen. It's one of the most emotionally charged movies ever. I mean, and I think a lot of it has to do with if you're a father, but Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I've never been that wrecked by a movie in my life, let alone a fucking musical. I mean, this was a movie where I stayed through the credits just because I knew how fucked up my face looked from crying so much.
Oh man, yeah. I don't think, you know, I mean, they were
like, I wasn't staying around hoping for a fucking Wolverine post-credit scene. I was like, I sit next to lesbians, and I was like, oh my God, I can't leave. And they're like, it's okay. We've seen this multiple times. We understand.
Oh my God.
I was like hugging my wife, like, oh my God. Don't ever let me treat you guys like that.
Now, I will say for TFA, you know, when it ultimately came down and Han got the lightsaber through the gut, that was definitely an emotional moment for me. You know, maybe my eyes watered up, maybe, you know, a tear may have fallen, but I don't think I ever got like that definitely not for a Star Wars movie.
I'm not trying to sugarcoat anything. I've never been that emotionally affected in my life from watching a movie, and the older I've gotten, the more I do cry during film. But
I think it's
The Greatest Showman, just because if you're someone that loves music to begin with, and music really affects you emotionally and can take you back, you know, I mean, Nick, I think you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, there are certain songs that if you hear, they can instantly take you back to a point in your life, unlike any other stimulus. Like, music can almost transport you in time.
Yeah, exactly. I definitely.
So again, this movie is all about music, and even though these songs were new to me, the message in the songs were like, "Oh my god, my god, I'm a dad."
I was gonna say, I think that's the big part is like you're a dad now. So all this shit.
Yeah, fuck it, of course.
That
I mean, half this movie's message is like, how much does a man sacrifice for his own goals that do benefit his family over his family?
Yeah. So definitely some messaging in there specifically for fathers in the crowd, and I think it hit home.
I highly recommend. I mean, I'm the biggest Star Wars geek you'll ever meet. One of them, at least. I'm not gonna say I'm the top because I know there are plenty others, but Greatest Showman is a fantastic work of art. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I don't think that either one of us are going to be stepping out of Solo with tears in our eyes unless something really fucking unexpected happens.
No, I'm telling you right now, there are no tears in Solo. Avengers Infinity War, yeah.
Yeah.
I had some moments in that. I mean, there were moments of pure jubilation, moments of anger, moments of sadness. But that movie's just something in its own self.
Yeah,
so.
like we were saying, that's the closest thing to Empire that you're gonna get in an Avengers movie.
I've never watched a Marvel movie more than twice in theaters, and I've already seen Infinity War 3 times in less than a week.
Yeah,
so.
I think I'm gonna probably go back for a second viewing here pretty soon.
Oh, I mean, it's a movie that mandates a second viewing, if not requires a third.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fucking fantastic film, and I mean, hats off to
and by
it,
the
like,
way,
for breaking those records.
I am, just like the original Avengers movie did for Hulk, I am one of the biggest Thanos homers of all time right now.
Thanos is a pimp, dude. Like, he is.
I love that guy.
Thanos is literally
as
like
much as
the Darth Sidious of MCU.
Exactly. I mean, what a pimp.
Yeah, I mean, Darth Sidious fucking.
This is a guy who's like, this is my plan. Everyone knows it. I'm still going to pull it off.
Yeah, I mean, Sidious worked in the shadows a little bit more, but I mean, he accomplished his ultimate goal of taking over the fucking universe.
I still think Sidious was more impressive based on what he had to do.
And, like, what he had to work with, like, you know.
Exactly. That's the point. Like, he had nothing outside of the dark side.
Yeah. So
where this guy, I mean, the more stones he amassed, the more powerful he got.
Yeah, I mean, like they said within the first 2 minutes of the movie, like, he's the most.
Thor's like, he already has 2 stones. He's invincible, so we're fine.
Yeah, like, he's the most powerful person in the universe now, and he's only got 2. So, like, really, what the fuck could anybody do about it? Like, he called it. They called that in the first 10 minutes of the movie. Like,
I absolutely love the guy. I think he's one of the best movie villains of all time.
Yeah, and that's like,
he's fantastic.
It's like I was telling you off mic too. Like, they could have really flattened that character out and made him really cookie cutter and cardboard, but
just like every other fucking Marvel villain. Like, yeah,
I mean, like,
you're fucked. Okay, I fucked up.
Yeah, I mean, it could have been like Red Skull from the original Captain America movie, or it could have been like Ultron,
Loki. Every one of them fucked up. Every one of them fucking appeared to have this great plan. They all fucked it up. Where Thanos is like, okay, this is what I'm doing. Now fuck you, and he did.
Yeah,
he's like, fuck you and fuck you and fuck you.
Yep. And now he's just like chilling on that planet,
he's smiling. He fucking that is the best part. He spoilers, by the way. It's been out for a week. I don't really give that much of a shit, but he literally earlier told Strange, like, I intend to do this and then sit down and chill and watch a sunrise and smile.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what he does.
Yeah, I mean that was the perfect like end scene for that movie. Like
he does exactly what he called it. He Babe Ruthed it.
Yeah, like he pointed to the bleachers and knocked the fuck out of the park. So
yeah, I love him, and that's why I'm gonna buy his $380 Hot Toys 1/6 scale figure.
That's a pretty penny, but I mean, like I'm sure that thing is gonna look pretty fucking sick.
He deserves to be.
Also, yeah, I mean, if you guys out there are fans of Star Wars and fans of particularly Galaxy of Heroes, the other game you should be playing that is related to Marvel, and to play Marvel Strike Force. Because Matt and I we picked that game up,
and I still don't know how Nick is 10 times better than me,
dude.
Unless this motherfucker's secretly spending dollars on the game. And I know he's not. I do not get it. And he's not the only one, because I play with these other two guys, Kung Fu and my boy Hank the Gank. And they claim not to spend money. And they, too, blow me out of the pond in all these raids. And I'm just like, what the fuck's going on? Like, what am I fucking missing?
Now you have the chance to get Cap, though. The Cap Blitz is up. But that's only if you can.
Oh, fuck you. Yeah, if I spend $50 maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, you know as well as I do, you can't get character shards in those anymore. I mean, there's like Iron Fist and Yondu were the only two blitzes that I've come across where you had an opportunity to actually get legitimate shard dumps without spending dollars.
Yeah, I think the Cap one goes down a little bit, like outside of just the 100 tier, because there is like a 40 tier or something 100.
Like that. But fuck you.
And then also, if you finish the Heroes campaign, the last note on it is Cap.
Oh yeah, I know.
Cap farm.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, great. You fuckers got him. I'll forever be fucked. And I'm dead serious. That is the reason I can't compete with you guys.
I'm telling you, dude, the team.
It is.
You're right.
There's no other reason. He is. Fuck. I need to send you the screenshot. My Frosty dug it up. Another guy in our guild. By the way, the Strike Force time. Yeah. Welcome to Strike Force time. We're no longer talking about Star Wars. But anyways, he sent me this chart that this guy made where they break it down between God, demigod, great, usable, and trash as far as characters.
Oh, God.
And fucking Cap, where do you think he's at?
He's got to be God status, dude.
God. Yeah. He's God. Gamora's God. Yondu's God.
I'm running all three of them.
Yeah, exactly.
And, dude, yeah, I have my Gamora. I'm working on her 6-star because she's
Quake's God. So I mean, you literally have 5 gods. I bet.
Yeah, I'm running Quake, Yondu, Gamora, Cap, and then I still have Hand Sorceress, dude. She is like,
she's considered good. Like as far as she's like middle of the road. She's not demigod, but she's considered usable.
Yeah, because honestly, dude, that AOE burst heal that she has plus the defense up has saved me so many times.
Is the best part because the heal isn't that great, but the defense up is nice.
Yeah. So I mean, like that's the best part about her. I feel like she's the strongest healer in there.
But the point is, you are better than me because you bought Cap for $10.
Yeah, I was like. It was like within the first 24 hours of playing the game.
And I'm not trying to like say Nick is stupid for spending money in the game. I'm saying I hate him because he was able to spend money in the game and I wasn't.
Yeah, you didn't. You just like
because
missed.
I know how much it fucked.
Yeah,
me.
you just missed the window,
dude. It popped up. I was like X, whatever. I'm gonna play, get my turns in. I was like, I'll come back to it. And before you know it, was gone. It was fucking gone.
Yeah. Like,
just gone.
Yeah, that was pretty fucking crazy. Now, like...
It was almost like you had to do it within 12 hours or you're done.
Yeah, that was your window of time right there. But, yeah, dude, But
I will forever be behind the curve. And I even got a massive gift from the developer. And it didn't matter. In the end, you, Hank, and Kung Fu... all are still stronger than me, and all basically have a Thanos that is equivalent or better than mine.
Yeah, I mean, like, Thanos isn't even, like, near touching my fucking top squad. Like, My Thanos right now, I'll tell you his power level. My Thanos power level is 6,779. My Gamora's my top. Her power level is 11,255.
Oh, fuck off.
Dude,
I don't have a single person over 8,000.
Oh yeah,
I don't even.
my top squad, the lowest is 8890. And then actually Quake is about to hit 4 stars. And
see, I don't even get it. Like, where are you getting all these resources to up these fucks?
just the arena stuff, dude. Like the arenas.
How many people do you have at 55?
I don't have any at 55. Like Gamora's only 52, Cap's 52, Yondu's 52, Quake's 51.
All right, how many at 52?
1, 2, 3,
Three,
4. 4, yeah.
How many over 50?
5. Everybody else is lower.
Okay, I have like 9 or 10.
You're spreading the
people
love
over
too
50.
much. You gotta.
That's the fucking problem.
That's yeah.
All right, let's get back to Star Wars. What the fuck? Are we
Yeah,
doing?
so who knows, people? Me and Matt even talked about doing like a Strike Force time or like a Marvel time show. So maybe.
What the fuck are we even talking about? Like, how did we even end up on Strike Force?
Yeah.
We just had like a 10-minute rant on Strike Force strategy for our own guild that makes no sense for anybody.
So yeah.
Hey, welcome to Star Wars time.
Keep your ears peeled.
And I'm singing a Superman song. Like, that makes sense.
So
fuck?
wrapping back to Star Wars. I mean, the one other piece of news that we wanted to talk about, Matt, is you wrote up an article on it. It was a clip that came out today, the 190 years clip. Pretty fucking dope. Let's break it down for him.
All right, so we got the first official clip from the film today, and it was titled 190 Years Old. So if you've been watching the trailers, you probably know where this clip is going to be centered around, and it's a scene where Chewie reveals to Han how old he is. But what the clip gives us is it now sets up that line and why it gets a reaction that it does. But what it pays off is even better, because we get to see for the first time ever Han and Chewie piloting the Falcon together as pilot and co-pilot.
Yeah, in the clip it starts off with Kira in the co-pilot seat. They're clearly running away.
And by the way, what's the first thing you get in this clip? You get John Williams' score from Empire when they're being chased through the asteroid.
Yeah,
field.
exactly. And they're in a very similar situation too. They're running away from a Star Destroyer. And
this is probably the Kessel Run.
Yeah, exactly. That's pretty much been like our speculation since the trailers first came out showing it. But like in the clip, like Han says, give me full power to the rear shields or something similar. I think it
right. And Kira has no clue.
Yeah,
so
she's just like
basically Han's piloting, Kira's in the co-pilot, Chewie's standing up. Lando's somewhere in the back, and I guess in the article he's probably trying to fix a hyperdrive, which I'm going to tell you right now, take it to the back.
Yeah.
They're not going to let that gag go.
Yeah, I mean, it's too
guaranteed.
Good.
They're trying to get away in a pinch, but the hyperdrive on the Falcon fails. 100% take it to the bank on Coruscant.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's probably going to be what's happening too.
So that's why Han's piloting, and that's why Lando
I mean, this is
in the back.
still Lando's ship, by the way. This is not when like Han's already won it in the Sabbath game and anything like that. Like they're still together.
I still don't know how that's going down, because even in the same article, I threw up the latest TV spot called Rivals, and it almost shows the entire card match.
Yeah, because the 360 video shows
these guys are playing as strangers, where Han may have known of Lando before.
Yeah,
but they don't remotely know of each other in any great detail, and it doesn't seem like it. Well, they are talking about playing cards for ships. So
yeah, I mean, and
I don't know. I mean, we've been told that we are going to see this go down.
Yeah. In the 360 video, which is like a separate one from the Rivals trailer, there's that moment where it's like, so Han goes all in basically, and he's got more chips than Lando. Lando's like, okay, well, I'll match it, and he says, and then Han says, with what? And he's like, I'll put up my ship for your ship, and that's how it ends. Like Lando says, my ship for your ship. Now we don't know that Han has a ship. Like We don't know what fucking ship he's talking about. We don't know if like Han just ripped some fucking little skyhopper off of a planet just to get off of, you know, wherever he was. But that's how that clip ends is Lando saying my ship for yours, and it cuts off there. So I mean, maybe, who knows, like maybe that's a different card game, and then Han wins this beater from or Lando wins this beater from Han, actually beats him in the game, and then at the end of the flick is when it comes down to like the real deal, like the Falcon's on the line, and that's when Han wins it.
Yeah, it's just based on what we've seen, I still can't stitch together how this exchange is going down, because every action scene we see that feels like it's probably going to be the climactic action moment, it feels like Lando's still in possession of the Falcon.
Yeah, I almost feel like, though, like, I know that you just said that like this card game, it doesn't seem like they know each other, but like there was some beats in this scene that makes me feel like it could be like, you know, a little bit after.
No, I think
later.
I still think this is them coming to a bar based on knowledge from Kira, and this is Han just working his way in and warming up to the guy.
Yeah. I mean, it could.
I feel like this card game is Han's play into, hey man, we need you for this job.
Yeah. I mean, I agree that that's probably, you know, where it's going to end up going. But there's something, like, there's one particular look that, like, Han, like, he's standing there and he doesn't look impressed. So, like, he I mean, like, he clearly is familiar with Lando at the very least. So, like, my thought is, like, maybe.
Do you see this fabled card game even going down maybe as one of the last scenes in the movie?
I feel like it has to be, right? Like, it's got to
Right?
be the end,
Okay.
or, like, right
I'm with
before
you,
the
man.
end.
I'm with you.
So,
Yeah, I feel like just based on even this full clip we've seen now, which is an entire scene, which again is great. Again, Kira's being the co-pilot, Han's the pilot. They're getting fucked up. They need to know how to divert shields to the rear. Chewie comes in, goes bang, bang, bang. Han's like, and this is where you've seen it from the trailer, hey, how'd you know how, I didn't know you knew how to pilot. And he's like, yo, I'm fucking 190. And Han's like, oh, really? And Kira's like, oh, really? Take my seat. And then he sits down and they look at each other. I'm like, fuck yeah.
yeah,
I was like, that was awesome.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's why I'm getting more excited about this movie.
Yeah, that was a fucking fantastic little clip that we got there.
And that right there, I was like, yes. And honestly, dude, that whole scene, viewing it as a scene and not just quips in a trailer, I was like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it.
Yeah, that's Han Solo and that's Chewbacca.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it felt like an exchange between those two characters, which was really cool. And yeah, dude, it definitely, like, that definitely helped build the hype. So yeah, I'm fucking stoked. I'm getting pretty excited for this.
I'm way more high on Alden right now. And I have a much more positive outlook on the film in general.
Yeah, for sure.
Based on really just the TV spots that have been sprinkled out over the past 2.5 weeks. I think these 45-second TV spots have been fantastic.
Yeah.
Because they come with a theme, like they get titled.
Yeah, exactly.
And they actually like pay off on that.
Yeah, like that's what I really liked about the Rivals one, is like it gives you that little, you know, beginning or those pieces of the story between those two.
Like I said, the whole thing is almost a card game between Han and Lando and how they're trying to game each other.
And the one other little cool part that we got was in the team TV spot. We finally got to hear Rio, the Jon Favreau character, little monkey guy.
You got to hear Favreau.
Yeah, he's like,
speak.
is that a Wookiee or some shit?
Wookiee? Yeah, he actually calls out Chewbacca as being a Wookiee.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool. We finally got a line from that character.
And I mean, honestly, dude, I think I'm most excited to see Chewie in this movie, because it sounds, from what we've been told, this is going to be the most expansive role Chewbacca as a character has played today.
Oh yeah, I mean, this is going to be a movie where we see the only time that we see Chewbacca that's unfettered from Han outside of Episode 3, but like,
well, he's also going to be the main character.
Yeah,
I mean, he's the second lead essentially.
Yeah. So, and then we've already gotten that clip of Chewbacca embracing another Wookiee, which gives us, you know, reason to believe that there's going to be some maybe family back history given to his character, or, some bonds outside of just
and we've
Han.
even, I mean, I think we even talked about how Ron kind of wanted to go back and get more of Junius as Chewbacca because of how well he was doing.
Yeah, I mean, this is the new Chewbacca from like here until there's no more Chewbaccas in movies anymore, guys. This Junius Suetamu. And I mean, episode 8, I mean, he did a fantastic job. I mean, I know that, it's hard. I mean, it may be hard to.
You gotta remember
decipher
this
between
guy
him.
can only perform based on physical movements. Like, he can't speak dialogue. He can't really show emotion through detailed, sad faces. But he can only express it through his roars, which obviously he's not doing. It's all physical. I mean, it's the most physical role in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah, I mean, the mannerisms is how Peter Mayhew brought that character to life in the original trilogy.
That's how, I mean, even though we would mostly get him translated through Han, you knew as a fan after the first few times you saw Chewie interact with Han what he was saying.
Yeah, exactly. Like
you didn't need Han to confirm what you already figured Chewie was saying.
Yeah, I mean, just even going back to like episode 5 where you don't really get a translation of what Chewie's saying.
He's working on he's like spark plugging the Falcon and it's frying up and he looks up, he basically says, "Shut the fuck up, Han, I'm doing my best, you cocksucker."
Yeah. He's like, "All right."
Like, fuck off.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, character.
He's like, "No shit, Sherlock. I'm fucking working on it."
Yeah, I mean, the fact that character was able to be brought to life in that level of detail by I mean, we gotta say George Lucas in the original trilogy and Peter Mayhew. I mean, like that was a stroke of genius to be able to do that. I mean, to literally have a non-vocal character be one of your primary, one of your primary on-screen characters for most of these films. And still have people understand, like feel like they understand what this character is going through and saying. I mean,
he's one of the few that has now spanned all 3 trilogies.
Yeah,
I mean, he's in there with the droids, really.
Droids and Yoda.
Yeah, I mean that's about it.
Yeah, I think that's the only.
Yeah, that is it.
Because Palpatine's not in any of the new ones. I mean, he was mentioned, but he wasn't like on screen.
Yeah, he doesn't exist in any type of form.
Yeah, I don't think that we're gonna get any kind of Obi-Wan Force Ghost or anything like that in episode 9. If we do, then he'll make it all the way through. But and it also depends if we get any sort of Vader look in, like if we get an Anakin Skywalker projection or anything like that. That's the only other character that could possibly make it across.
In the end, we've already said what we need about that character. I mean,
yeah, stand alone.
If there's any discussion on where Standalone should go next, I mean, it's that guy. I mean, fuck the Game of Thrones guys trilogy. Fuck Johnson's trilogy. Give me a fucking Vader single movie, if anything.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd take a trilogy of that too, but that would be to me, and I don't think we're alone in talking about this, but I don't know how you argue against a Vader extended saga not being the most interesting Star Wars narrative you could tell.
Well, it would also be one of the most like visually captivating ones, just because of the fact that you're seeing
of what he could do and what was going on at his peak.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's
just the sheer destruction he could levy with the Empire behind him.
Yeah, so seeing something like that brought to life on a big screen would be fucking fantastic. I mean, we got 45 seconds of it in Rogue One and people lost their shit. So
and that's just an action moment. Like, I'm just talking about getting into the motherfucking psyche of the character.
Yeah. I mean,
like I want to hear his what are they called? Soliloquies.
Yeah, like his internal monologues.
Right, exactly. I want to hear him talking to himself. I want to hear his id. I want to hear his ego.
Yeah, I agree, dude. There's a lot of good stuff behind that character that needs to be explored in some sort of on-screen fashion. I mean, with the new Resistance cartoon being announced, as we predicted it to be announced before, we're pretty much not going to get any Vader storyline there, so there's no avenue for it in that TV show, and I don't see them running. I mean, we know that a live-action TV show is going to be coming to the Disney streaming platform, but I don't see them doing a live action. Like, do you think that could be a route for that? Is like a live action TV show that is focusing on Vader? I mean, I don't know.
Nah, I think he's too big for TV.
Yeah. I kind of have that same feeling too, but I mean, we'll see. Cause
I mean, just think about how he was used in Rebels. I mean, very sparingly. I mean, he had his very impactful moments, but it was still like maybe 4 total episodes.
Yeah, so it's not like you can't use one of the primary characters from the original trilogy to have like a focused TV show on. Like, you can't do like a Luke Skywalker TV show or shit like that. It's just not going to play out. So we have, I mean, I'm really curious to see where that's going to go. 2019, this streaming platform is supposed to launch, and that live action show is supposed to be showcased on there. So I'm definitely interested to see where that plays out. But so yeah, man, I think we hit all the beats for this week. Took a deep dive even off the fucking Star Wars train into the Marvel universe, but
yeah, man, damn, that Strike Force segment still kind of took me by surprise, but I enjoyed talking about it. I do. I think it's a factor of age and having a kid, but these mobile games are where it's at right now for me.
They're so convenient, dude. Like,
right. I mean, they provide for no money. I'm telling you right now, between Heroes and Infinity War, I bet throughout the day, if you total up the time, they provide probably close to 2 to 2.5, 3 hours of gameplay for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially with Strike Force's
bouncing between the two.
Yeah, like with Strike Force's raid format, like making you go through the nodes and stuff.
Oh yeah, you got to put time in. There's no just autoing shit. I mean, you got to fucking manual it out. And the way we're playing it now, I mean, I'm lucky to finish 4 nodes.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like they turn over so quick. I'm like at work, I'm trying to fucking fit in 3 or 4 nodes just to get on the board. Oh my god.
Exactly, dude. Our productivity in life has dropped significantly with these types of games.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because there will be times where I'll take like a 15-minute breather just to work my turns.
Yeah, you need to, especially in Strike Force. But all right, people, I think we're done here for this week. It seems like we're in full solo mode now, dude.
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, the TV spots have, if they're not daily, they're bi-daily, and they're getting better and better. I mean, I've gone from being lukewarm to very cold, that when we saw the second trailer with Alden, to now I kind of believe in the guy. So I'm excited. I already bought my tickets. That's if you forgot from the beginning, if you're tuning in late, solo tickets are up for pre-order right now. You should probably still be able to get some. I don't think it's going to move as quickly as a TLJ or TFA or even IW, but it's out there. It's time. I got my 24th tickets. I got my 25th tickets because I'm always going to be watching a new Star Wars movie back to back. It has to happen.
Yes, sir.
And usually in different formats. I'm going IMAX day 1 in somewhat shitty seats, but still reserved. And then next day I'm going to the upgraded luxury Dolby Atmos cinema experience.
Yeah, that Atmos shit is something special, I have to say.
Dude, I mean, I'm telling you right now, if you people don't have an AMC Prime theater location by you, you are missing out on modern theater technology. I mean, I don't know of another chain that rivals what AMC does right now with AMC Prime.
Yeah, no, I mean, Regal has some okay theaters. GPX is their version of IMAX. It still looks pretty cool, but I mean, I went to go see TLJ in the AMC Prime Atmos fucking crazy decked out theater, and it was
stupid.
Insane. Yeah, it was
stupid.
Insane.
I mean, the sound, they literally have subs built into your seat.
Yeah, like your seat shakes like when fucking the subs hit. It's
right.
Really.
And that's just Dolby. Like, there's 3 versions of film that this Prime theater can give you now. It's the Dolby Atmos, which also, by the way, essentially has the best projector technology. I mean, the brightest whites, the darkest blacks. Then you have just straight AMC Prime, which is not Atmos, but you're still getting the same speaker setup, and you're still getting the great picture. But then you have Prime 3D, which if you do still enjoy 3D, there's no arguments anymore for what's the best way to consume 3D, because the screen remains as bright as possible. Because I don't know about you, Nick, but when you watch 3D movies, you're throwing on those goggles which already have a shaded tint to them. So the picture does get slightly darker.
Yeah.
But with this Prime 3D tech, man, I'm telling you, it's so fucking bright anyways that it negates the dimming effect of the glasses. Plus, you still get some pretty banging sound. So the Prime 3D theaters and the 3 different formats they can roll out are ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, AMC has definitely got the technological part of movie-going experience.
I feel like at this point, AMC is the best theater chain out there because they have the dine-in experience if you want it. And then now, at least in my location, every theater now is reserved seating, pimp recliner. Unless it's IMAX, then you're still sitting in the old school seats, but it's at least reserved. And then they have the Atmos Prime, the 2 screens that are built for the Prime experience.
Yeah. So you're decked out there too, and I mean,
so you either eat at a full restaurant while you watch a movie, or you go to a Prime theaters or IMAX theaters or standard theaters that still have a pretty nice screen and sound, but they have the money relaxing recliners.
Yeah, dude. I mean, everybody in Texas is a huge fan of Alamo Drafthouse because it's like it's a different theater going experience, but you don't get that giant massive IMAX screen. You don't get those booming speakers like you do in the AMC theaters, the Prime theaters. I mean, it's different, but
by the way, you can still drink in the AMC theaters, Drafthouse fans.
Yeah.
I mean, if that's your big hang-up, you can still get beers and even liquor, I mean, if you want.
Yeah, I think almost everywhere now allows you to drink in theaters.
Yeah. I am anti-alcohol at movies. It doesn't make sense to me because I'm a pisser. I mean, I'm someone, I can hold it for a while, but once it rips, it's done. I mean, once I rip that seal, I'm talking 15, 20 tops in between pisses.
Yeah, that's kind of how I am too.
I just don't. Well, I mean, a lot of it's because of how much water I drink throughout the day, anyways. But it is what it is. Once I piss that seal open, I'm done, and I'm not trying to watch a brand new movie where I'm getting up to piss too.
No,
times.
Especially when it comes to Star
I don't want to.
Wars,
I mean,
Marvel.
I refuse to get up one time.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll sit there in pain versus going to pee during a movie I have never seen.
Yeah, exactly. So, when I go to the theater, when me and my girl go to, Drafthouse, and she's like, I'm going to get a beer and, something else. And, you want anything? I was like, nope, I'm good. I don't want to have to pee during this. And that's it, dude. Black Panther.
That's what that's what vape pens are made
for. Black Panther, I think she had a couple of beers, and I didn't have anything. We had a bowl of popcorn, and that was it, and I was sick, but I did not leave the theater.
Yeah, I even want to fight you fuckers eating popcorn. I at this point, I don't think people should be allowed to eat in a movie. It's rude, it's annoying, especially during a movie like A Quiet Place, when you have fucking fat assholes stuffing their fucking pie holes all night with it's you can't wait 2 hours to fucking stuff your face, you fucks. Seriously, you need to eat fucking all this food at a movie? I mean, come on.
Dude. Yeah, some people gotta eat. Yeah, I'm not an eater or a drinker in the theater.
I mean, the popcorn's the worst fucking thing
crunches.
You can eat. Oh, man. And I'm someone, I know there's a disorder called, there's a name for it, but even the people try to eat with their mouths closed, I can still hear them and want to stab them in the neck. The reason I know I love my daughter as much as I do is she's the only human being right now that I can accept that chews like a pig, and I don't want to fucking twist her neck.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's...
I mean, my wife knows... Do not eat around me if you're eating something loud. Do not even consider being within earshot. As much as I know it's not her fault, and I sound just as loud, and I hate hearing myself eating more than hearing other people. Like I said, it's a disorder.
Yeah, there's something going on in your head there.
But when I'm in a fucking movie and I'm trying to watch a scene and I got fat fuck number 1 and 2 sitting next to me going like nom 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 nom. It's like, really? For 2 hours you can't quell your inner fat ass? You can't just sit here and enjoy a movie without stuffing your face with some form of fucking empty calories. You piece of shit. Fat fuck American.
Oh, God.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, it is pretty fucking annoying.
Oh, my God. I can't stand it. It's like, my theater, I believe, is one of the worst. And last night, prime example, I'm going to Infinity War, 7 o'clock screening, IMAX. I buy my ticket at 6, okay?
Yep.
Get online early. Row's wide open, I pick dead middle.
Yeah.
I get there. Some motherfucker picks a seat right next to me.
Oh, my.
Mind you, the entire row of probably 20 or 30 seats is still wide open.
Dude, I would have... Yeah, that's fucking ridiculous.
He sits right next to me. Reserve seats, by the way. This isn't just open seats. Reserve seats. So he physically picked a seat where he saw that there was already a seat taken. He picked the one right next to it.
You want to...
And this dude, this happens all the time.
That is pretty frustrating.
I don't even, it dumbfounds me. Like, what human who's also going to a movie by themselves, which I honestly think is the best way to go to movies.
Yeah.
I have no shame in watching movies by myself.
Yeah, I enjoy it by myself, too.
I absolutely love it. I love going to theater by myself, just zoning out, not having anyone distract me besides all the fucking idiots I'm just talking about eating their fucking popcorn and getting fat and dying, hopefully, of fucking heart attacks or diabetes.
Oh, man.
But it's just like, dude, I can't win sometimes. I can't win. It's like, I don't get it. Like, where's the logic in that? I mean, would you not at least pick one seat in between?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to sit next to
Even
anybody
that's a
when I'm
little
at theater.
weird. Even that's a little weird.
Yeah, like it.
But the seat right next to
If
me?
it was me, I don't like sitting next to people in the theaters unless I'm
Fuck
forced
no,
to.
you don't.
So yeah, I'm 100% on that train with you.
All right, so by the way, that was just your public service announcement part of this Star Wars Time show. We just wanted to relate to you how you should behave at movie theaters if you do watch movies in public. So just to remind you, don't fucking eat or drink anything because you can live. You can wait 2 hours to eat that shit.
That's right.
And 2, if you can reserve a seat, don't reserve a seat right next to someone unless you have to. Unless it's sold out.
Everybody likes space.
Why do that? I mean, why do that? Unless you're just a creep, why the hell do that?
Space it out a little bit, people. Not gonna hurt you. Not gonna hurt you.
All right, thank you. So that's all I ask next time you go to a theater. Don't be a fucking pig. And have common sense when it comes to choosing your fucking reserve seats.
All right, people. That's the message we're going to go out on here.
Yeah. Thank you. May the force be with you. Always.